Click on Scenes on the left-hand side, and this will pull up the window that shows your scenes. You can have as many different scenes as you want. Make sure that you're naming them very carefully. Like you can see this one here, I've named it the penalty box list. This allows all sites in our school's penalty box. I made that because my daily scene over here that's applied to my GoGuardian sessions automatically, because I set it up that way, has things that are just specific for my class. But maybe there are times where I want to open it up and be a little more lenient to allow students to go to sites for their math or their science or their English class. So I can change it to this list. There are times that maybe you're doing testing and you only want specific websites for them to go to. Or here, maybe you have a little more freedom and it's like kids can go anywhere except the specific sites I'm adding to this scene. Like maybe, you know, I'm making sure they stay off YouTube today or off music sites or game sites. So I just keep adding sites to this. That'll make more sense in a few minutes. But let's go ahead and create a new scene. So we click on Add Scene. I'm just going to name this one Play 2. Be very specific with your names and then make sure that you write a description here. That's what shows on that front page where you saw the details. The great thing about scenes is that there are so many different options and you can personalize and use them for what works best for your classroom. So I'm going to skip past filters. We'll come back to that and scroll down here to the simplest way to use scenes. Maybe all you want to use scenes for is so that when your GoGuardian session starts, it automatically opens up specific websites for your students, like clever.ccsd.net. Maybe you want it to go your school's website to automatically open. Perhaps you use a daily or weekly agenda and you want it to open that specifically. Keep in mind, you can come in and change these open tabs for daily or weekly. So like if you are using the weekly agenda, you can come in here every week and just update your scene. So you can see you can add numerous websites here. You also have the option to maximize the number of open tabs. So I can come here, right now it's defaulted to no, but maybe I say, okay, I don't want my students to have more than 4 tabs open. So keep in mind, whatever you're teaching in class, you need to make sure they don't need more than 4 tabs. But maybe whatever you're doing today, the most they would need is 4. So you want to prevent them from opening up that 5th tab and going off and exploring whatever. Or you just feel like, okay, 3 tabs is the most manageable for my students. So you can use both these options, or maybe you want to just create a scene that is simple as not letting your kids have more than 3 tabs open. Keep in mind, if you were to choose the 3 tabs they have open, they can just come up to the top of their tab and type over the URL of one of those and open up a different website. It doesn't force them to these 3 websites, so just keep that in mind. It just means they can only open up 3 tabs. Now let's look at filters. So with filters, there are 2 different modes. Allow mode is the first one, and I read this statement underneath here every time I go to set this up. All websites will be allowed except for those blocked below. So maybe this is, you know, you're doing a research project, or you know what, you are fine with your kids having freedom of where they go, but you want to block YouTube today. So you can just type in your blocked website and click Add Site. You also can come up to your browser and get the specific long websites for anything. Maybe there's games that you're constantly seeing your students on, so you just want to grab those URLs and put those in here. The second option is the block mode. So this means all websites will be blocked except for those allowed below. This is one that's a little more extensive to create because you really have to think of everything. So we're going to come in, we have to add clever.ccsd.net. We need to add when kids go to Canvas, and this is where it helps to type in your addresses at the top. We need to get this CCSD instructor. We need to add that to the website. So this does get a little more intense as you come in to add the blocked mode. You really want to think through this. I like to actually create a spreadsheet and put all my different ones in there just so I have it and can really think through the different sites I go to. You'll notice over here, if you scroll down to this list on the side right, the very bottom, GoGuardian has created. So if you use Kahoot or Kami or Desmos, you can click on these things. If you use a lot of G Suite, click on that and then you can click Add Lists. This group of lists here where it says District Quick Lists, these are lists that were created by schools that were one-to-one. So like Mulaski, for example, was one of those. So all these ones that start with penalty box are ones that were created by me for our school last year. So if you want, you can choose these. Keep in mind, I'm no longer able to update these. So this is whatever websites were in here last year. So pretty much these are the websites I allowed for general sites, the student links, assessments like Kahoot and all of those type things that we played, Quizlet Live, those things were in there. Our school's databases, and then I had some that were specific to ELA, math, science. So you can come over here and you can choose these. Again, remember they're only updated as of last year because I no longer have the rights to update those since the district took over GoGuardian. So then you would click on Add Lists. So you can see over here it has added these lists. You can click on the drop down to see exactly what the website is that they allowed. You also could come over here and create your own list. So these are custom lists that you create yourself. So maybe you do have specific URLs that you want to put in there so it makes it easier when you're creating other scenes. I would create them here in lists. That way then you can add them into the different scenes that you make. So when you're all finished, make sure that you click on Update Scene at the top. So that just gives you a little brief overview of how to create your scenes.